ready for the fight. Voices loudly take the stand. Who will lead the promised land? Promises flying, hearts ignite. Truth and lies will take the mic. The clock is ticking, make your choice. Who you hear, the people's voice. It's in the ballot, it's in your hand. The future's calling, take a stand. One vote, one dream, one destiny. Who will wear the crown in 2025?
And good evening, everybody. Tonight, these candidates have vying for the role to become the next mayor of the Tararua District Council. But with every election, there's one thing stepping in their way, and that's your vote. Actually, that would help a lot better if I turn my mic on. Yes, coming live from the Dannevirke Town Hall, we're getting ready for It's in the Ballot. Now, just before we get through to the candidates, I'd like to introduce my question host, Laura. How has things been going today?
Well, today's been an interesting day.
Oh, I certainly can believe that. It's definitely not been an easy one, but we've managed to make it here and make everything work like we always do. Okay, so first up here, let's get to the candidates' opening statements. They get 1 minute each, and because we do things differently here at It's in the Ballot, we have a random order number sheet. And Scott, you get to go first on why the voters of Tararua should give you their tick for mayor.
Thank you very much. I'm Scott Gilmore and I'm excited to be standing for mayor. I live just outside of Woodville. I've got a background in business and I'm heavily involved in our community. And after the last 3 years of being on council, I believe now more than ever that we need to do things differently. I want to focus on finances and efficiencies. And I want to make sure that we look to restore trust in council through better consultation and making sure that the community is really involved in the decisions that we're making. I also want to ensure that we are never seen as a black hole for government services through effective lobbying of government ministers, MPs and government departments to ensure that our district is never forgotten.
Okay, next up, Evan, your opening statement.
Good evening, I'm Evan the Trass. I came to the Tararua 20 years ago to set up my business in Woodville, the Vikings Hall. Some of you may know me from there. I was quite involved in all manner of community activities at that stage. I was president of Rotary Club, chair of Woodville Vision, involved with the museum. I organised a lot of events, got a lot of things happening, but then I took a back seat to let other people have a chance at running because you can't hog the limelight all the time. I've come back to politics though because I'm not happy with the council's plan for water. And if any of you, probably most of you, remember when councils once had electricity departments, what is happening now with the water? It is being prepared, I believe, for privatisation, and we must stop that at any cost. We do not want to lose our water asset. We do not want it to be corporatised.
Okay, up next, Tracy, Your 1 minute opening statement.
Kia ora. Together, we've been tested with crisis leadership each term, from the collapse of the Manawatu Gorge through COVID and Cyclone Gabrielle. I've cared for this community, been a voice at every table, and championed for more for us, including nationally to ensure secure the funding and future-proofing for 4 lanes with the new highway, including a shared cycleway and walkway that will open our region up, and staunchly refused a toll that allows everyone to access this road and everything it has to offer. I've made sure we've had the strategy and planning for growth and ensured we maximised external funding. I know our communities inside and out and will work with them on solutions. I've got a proven track record inside and outside this district of getting things done, and we need to adapt to change and respond to challenges with the cost of living crisis and technology is placing on us are faster than ever. I offer trusted and experienced leadership, and this has never been more important than now.
Okay, next up, Michael.
I don't want water meters, period. That's a non-negotiable. I believe in controlling the spending. I want to tear apart all the accounting. Numbers don't lie. They don't have an opinion. They're just numbers. I hear all sorts of horrible rumours. I've got no idea if they're true. And the accounting will definitely show what's what and what's not what. I want to see what we pay for certain services and compared to other councils and also the private sector. I hear of one mayor that decided to build a step for their council building because it was going to cost $10,000 and he got it done for $200. I want to bring back accountability and smart spending, and definitely not water meters, and also Horizons bus service for the entire region. Not just for shopping, not just for the elderly, and not just for students, but for everyone, to broaden the region for everyone. Thank you.
Okay, and Steve.
Whoops, we're on a chair here. Hi, I'm Steve Wallace, and I'm a present Northern Ward councillor. I've lived in Dannevirke all my life. I enjoy Dannevirke. I've built a business here. I've got 3 children. They all have their businesses in Dannevirke. Our town, our district needs the deserves leadership. And as it says on my sign over there, I believe in pragmatic Tararua leadership. So I'm seeking election as the mayor of the Tararua district. And this is what my campaign is based on. Solution focused, rooted in common sense. And as a ratepayer and a business person myself, I understand the need for the value for our money and the responsibility of decision making. So please, listen tonight, make sure that when you're out there voting, make it the right vote. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates, for your opening statement, and I'm very proud that we have a full house of candidates here. It's not easy to get all the candidates standing to actually appear, so thank you so much for taking your time out tonight to appear on It's in the Ballot. Okay, so this is the fun round where we get to candidates get to pick out box numbers and then guess what, not guess what question's in there, answer the question that what's in there. Now, as you can sit there and see there, Laura's got 28 boxes sitting up there, and each candidate gets to pick out a box number and they get to answer the question that's in the box. Every candidate gets given 2 button cards. They can use that if, say, the question they wanted to answer gets picked by another candidate. They can hold up that card, politely wait for that candidate to finish, and then put in their answer afterwards. All candidates also get a defer card, which can be used if the question is a bit too difficult. Now, fingers crossed, we won't have any defer cards being used because we want our candidates answering the questions. So, on my random order list sheet, Michael, you get to go first. What box number would you like?
Everything starts off with the first thing. Everything starts off with the first thing, so number 1, please.
Okay, we have V for victory.
Okay. That is not the correct question, Sam.
Okay, great. Have I been given the wrong questions to load in for the graphics? What is the...
Well, the question goes, myself and many friends will not walk streets in Dannevirke due to aggression from roaming dogs. I would like to know what changes to dog control you propose. It is really out of control and needs urgent attention.
I don't think I have that graphic.
Okay, it's a different question. I love dogs, so as a property investor, I allow cats and dogs to be on my properties. I guess ultimately it's to bring back the SPCA used to have a department in Dannevirke. I know when I've had stray cats, I can't get hold of anyone to actually take care of them. It would be to bring back the SPCA, whether or not we utilise volunteer groups to try and get those dogs under control.
Okay, Scott, what box number?
I will go with number 3.
3.
And remember to use the microphone so those at home can hear.
Okay, letter K.
Okay, and I'm now nervous. That matches.
Yes, that matches. Okay, so how do you plan to use deliberative democracy to ensure residents can directly contribute to the challenges our communities face?
The way that we consult just isn't working. Usually in meetings, councillors and staff outnumber the community members because there just isn't any trust in the process. People believe that the decision's already been made, so why bother coming? We've got to change that. I'm open to more formal deliberative democracy, but I think that we could get better outcomes if we did consultation differently. We should flip the consultation process, so instead of council and staff coming up with and presenting the solutions alone, we develop them with our communities right from the start. State the problems that need to be solved and then work through them. Council could then refine it and go back to the community to see if we've got it right. I want to respect and utilise the skills we have in our communities, rural and urban, and I think we'd start rebuilding trust and getting much better outcomes.
Okay, Evan. Oh,
I believe Tracy wants to use her card.
yep. Tracy's got a button.
Kia ora. Just on that, I think for us in council, Scott's correct, and staff have done a lot of that. But actually, the community boards and community committees that we fund also have a really important part to play. They are close to the ground, and let's do this together. It's not simply just up to council. I think there's a place to go out to them and ask what their communities want, where they want to be involved, agree on that, and then also with council meetings, is there a session afterwards, you know, what's happened so that the community's informed. I think we need to work this out together before adding additional layers of costs, and our local committees at every level we already fund and they can play a big part.
Okay, now let's get to Steve.
I'll have number 7, please.
Number 7?
Yeah, Evan.
Question Q. Okay. How do you plan to improve economic growth in our community? How do we attract young families and professionals to our area?
This is my favourite one, because I believe if you're going to try and have problem solving, you've got to have hope for the future. So we need to bring more jobs in. My favourite proposition for this is tourism. We have great rivers, sea, bush. We could be great at ecotourism. Also, we have a unique feature here in the Tararua. We have the single greatest concentration of Scandinavian heritage of anywhere in the country. That makes us highly attractive to Northern Europe, who wants to come, they want to come here and know where their ancestors went to 150 years ago. These people come here now, they visit the Dannevirke Gallery of History, they visit Norsewood, Dannevirke, all the other towns that started off. And in recent times, we've also got growing numbers of heritage festivals like the Viking Festival in Norsewood, the new Ikatahuna Through the Ages. These things bring a lot of people from local and overseas. We could grow so much.
Will help people want to move here. I know some people that would love to move to this region, but the rates, I mean, our rates are astronomical, are deterring some people, but also we need the businesses here to employ people. If we lose, like Alliance, that hires 300 people in their peak season, we're going to lose a lot of jobs. So we need to not just encourage new jobs, we need to keep the jobs that we've got here. I know with water meters, people have been going, cool, Alliance will have to pay their fair share. What if that's what pushes them off the edge of the cliff and we lose 300 jobs? We need to not just encourage new jobs, we need to keep the jobs that we have here. Also, I know of developers personally that are struggling to get permission to build, and if you want more housing, you need to strengthen the departments that do the consents to get that through so that more housing can be provided. Thank you.
Council's been involved in economic development before, and it is tough. Council isn't the right one to lead it, and neither are we the right one to fund it. We have an affordability issue, and our people simply cannot pay for that. Some of the things that we have done that haven't cost a lot of money is around the motorhome friendly, and Evan's right around our Scandinavian history, but actually some of our local communities and those that know that best are the best ones to lead it, and Council can get in behind them. We can leverage off Accelerate 35 and a Central Economic Development Agency, and looking after the businesses that we've already got is the fastest way to grow them. We will have some natural growth coming in off the highway, and we offer hot desks in Woodville, but it's not a place that Council can fund, nor is it the best one from ratepayer funds.
Okay, Steve, we're finally up to you. What box number?
13.
Number 13.
13, please.
13.
Okay, question you. What is your approach to handling controversial and complicated issues?
Well, this is a very good question, and I'm pleased I've been asked it. Well, firstly, and from my point of view, every person with this, if you have a complicated question put to you, every side of a coin always has two sides. So the first thing, you must listen to what's been asked, and respect what the people have been saying.
Sorry. Keep going.
See? So the main thing with this here, I would be handling any controversial question and complicated issue with very close attention, go out, and if I have to seek more information about what they're trying to put across, but the main thing, I would be listening. I would be listening to everyone's point of view, because I think every person in this room has got a different point of view, and our job is to sit there and listen and then make it a firm decision.
Okay, Tracy, what box number?
I've got 4 children who are all watching, so if I can have number 4.
Number 4 it is.
Are they watching on one TV or 4 separate devices?
4 separate devices.
Oh, I like that. That helps the ratings.
Question N. Ooh,
M
that-
or N?
N.
N for November. Okay, does that
N for
look a lot
November.
better?
Right, yes, the questions match. Okay. Right, regarding the recent 2024 issue affecting council rate direct debit payments, how would you handle such a situation?
Thanks. And I guess I was the mayor, so I did handle that. Look, the chief executive and the staff, it was an operational matter, and they did offer to address that. But in leadership, actually, we stand together. So I stood hand in hand with them. It's about front-footing it with the residents, the media, the government, and with transparency. So we've really opened up on everything. I think for me, asking the curious questions and asking those questions earlier, we've put measures in place to prevent anything like that happening again, including the customer service requests, where each week elected members can see what comes in different areas. Any flags that are throwing up would have been made and created earlier detection. It's going to be interesting having a look at what we're doing to recover those rates versus what it would have been to challenge the government and write those off. So I think for me, it was one that needed to be dealt with compassion, and it's a mistake that can never ever occur again.
Okay, so we've had five question boxes open, and so we're for another round. Evan, you get to go first on this round. What box number?
21. Oh, you let me to go around the back.
I know, very, very good age, 21. Anyone's got a 21-year-old vintage bottle of wine somewhere?
Question why? Why for yellow?
Nervousness.
Yep, they match. What are you going to do to ensure the burden of costs of running our district doesn't just keep getting pushed onto future generations?
I believe there's several approaches we can take to this. One is try and grow our population to spread the burden. Two is council working hard for grant applications and subsidies from central government. Council, I believe, brought in $50 million or more to supplement our budget last year. I believe there's room for us to try and get even more. Three, to help community groups and organisations also access that external funding. And lastly, to spend a lot of time and energy in lobbying central government to assist local government, particularly in the rural sections like ours, with increased funding and revenue sharing.
Okay, Tracy, what box number?
Could I have number 6, please?
6. Question M. Right. Concerning the central government's messaging about councils being a core reason for the cost of living crisis due to wasteful spending, do you think this is the case? Why or why not?
I think that councils in other areas contribute to far greater social issues than what we do here in Tararua, which has created the focus for their conversation. Ratepayers subsidising social services and perhaps some of those that are not being met by central government. Here, our pensioner housing must be self-funding. Our ratepayers simply can't afford to do this. And we focus on who receives the benefit and who pays. We have no statues, and many of our nice-to-haves are externally funded and not projects of council. But we also need these things to contribute to making this place a great place to live. We fund community committees who can achieve some of these things. Some wasteful spending we can take the hit on is in response to central government or agency rules such as traffic management or compliance, but council must front this expense. So if we could advocate for less of that, that would be helpful.
Okay, Scott, what box number?
23, please.
23. Question AB.
Nervousness.
What's your biggest priority for the next term, and how do you intend on delivering that?
Getting a handle on our finances. Costs are increasing, but people can't afford to pay the bills. We need to work with community to find different ways of delivering our services. We need to investigate working with other councils to share the costs for routine back office tasks, things like HR, procurement, in our corporate services, and conduct a line-by-line review of all council spending to make sure that it's all of value. The Mayor has the legal responsibility to lead the development of the annual and long-term plans and has the ability to set the process. It should be staff supported, but it should be led by your elected members. We need to create a culture of efficiency in council through clear direction to staff to look at everything through this lens and create the governance structures to effectively monitor this and ensure that it's happening.
And we have, I believe, two buttons.
So, Michael.
Water is the number one issue, period. I want to definitely stop water meters. If that's going to cost between $5 and $7 million and the reservoir costed $10 million that's leaking, I don't know how we're going to charge people for water when the source itself is leaking water. To achieve this, I'm fully prepared to look outside the square as to other people's opinions, but also whether or not to look at bores, building just a new reservoir and having two reservoirs if needed, but just to resolve the water issue once and for all and to future-proof it so we've got an oversupply of water, not just enough for now, but to satisfy our needs for generations to come and for future industries to come to the region and not worry about whether or not they can afford to do business here and deal with the water issue at the same time. Thank you.
Okay, Michael. Oh, we've got two buttons. Okay,
Yep.
Sweet. Sorry, I missed that one.
Yeah, that slightly preempted me, but water is my main concern. What we're seeing here, I believe, with taking our water resources and combining them with three other councils to form a company, is a repeat of the 90s when councils were forced to set up their power companies, gas companies, and other productive assets into local authority trading enterprises, which all in short order failed and were sold off or privatised. Is there anybody here who is paying less for their power now than when councils delivered it? Because when councils delivered that power, that also gave the council an income, which means they did not have to rate you so highly. Now, they say it will save us money. It cannot, because we get lumbered with a $5 to $8 million bill for meters. Then we'll have to get a CEO for the new organisation, plus management, probably a building to operate out of, and we haven't even started to do anything. It will fail, it will be privatised, it will be sold off. And what we've seen overseas following the same pattern is that, like Baltimore in the States, ratepayers who are $150 behind on their water rates had their water cut off. There is no sympathy in corporations.
Okay, Michael, what box number?
Number 7, please.
Number 7, okay. Number 7 is gone, I'm afraid.
Number 5.
Number 5, I can do you a number 5. Question R. Tararua District Council doesn't have many places where tactical tiles are in use on footpaths to assist users who are visually impaired to know where it's safe to cross the road and what type of crossing they are using. Is this a core function that the Tararua District Council should provide, or a nice to have?
So my stepfather was run over at a pedestrian crossing and killed. My current family member has lost an eye and might lose vision in their other eye. I would hate to lose my vision. I'd hate that more than losing a limb or losing my ability to hear, or a combination of both. I don't think that should be too expensive to install. If need be, whether or not the council pays for the equipment and a volunteer group tries to build it to save on cost. But we could all end up being blind one day, so I'm fine to help the blind community achieve what they need to be able to see. To effectively not get run over and killed would be the ultimate aim. So I'm fine to assist with anything for the blind community, because if you close your eyes and try walking around, that truly sucks. So I'm all in for helping the blind community achieve their goals. Thank you.
Okay, Steve.
I'll go for box 16.
Box 16. Question I. We have people selling their homes, retired people, older working couples, and moving out of the district due to simply not being able to afford the rates. This is an Ika Tahuna related question, but I can change it to Dannevirke.
It's a mayoral race, though.
True.
And Ika Tahunas get to vote for the mayor.
That is correct. In Ika Tahuna, in Dannevirke, across the Tararua, let's just say across the Tararua. Tararua is an ageing population. The young are leaving, and now the old can't afford to stay. If elected, what would you be doing to reduce wasteful spending so people can afford to continue to live here?
Yes, well, the first thing on that, yes, Ika Tahuna is in our district, and the mayor is for everyone in our district. But what I'd be focusing on, obviously, is costs. Now, costs, if we can, as my sign says, pragmatic leadership. So we will be doing a line by line, looking at all the costs that we're going through, because don't forget, every asset that you want and everything that you need in your council or want nice to haves, we have to look at what we nice to have or what we can have. Two different things. So what we need to do so everyone can drive, we don't want to, I pay rates, you all pay rates in here. We don't want to keep putting rates up, so we need to do things in another way. So I'm going to look closely at everything that we can do to reduce those costs of rates.
Thank you for that. And with our 10 questions down and a new order list, Scott, you get to go up first.
Box 17, please.
Box 17. Question E. Okay. Do you think council is doing enough to maintain Tarurua's rural roads?
Rural roads must be a focus, but they're always going to be a challenge with us having the fourth largest roading network in the country. But our rural ratepayers pay huge bills, so should rightfully expect decent roads. We were fortunate that we were able to secure an increased NZTA subsidy of 73 cents per dollar for road maintenance, but that's only for approved works. Unfortunately, we also received a lot less than we applied for in the last NZTA funding round, which had, if we were to pay for that ourselves, would cost us millions more. We need to work on getting this funding package increased and work with our communities to identify what roads we need to focus on first.
Okay. Evan, what box number?
23. Let's see if I can get you a 23. Even have a 23 in here? No, it appears that 23 is gone. 22. Question T.
Question C, was it?
T.
T for Tango. Does that match up?
that does not match up, I'm afraid.
Okay, no,
But I can
that's
ask-
definitely, I know, one of the ones that would change. We're finding out more what's happened in the ins and outs.
I can ask that question though.
Oh no, do what's on the card.
Okay.
Because that's what the candidates have got in front of them.
Right, okay. What are your ideas for helping people who don't have good internet access to be involved and have their say?
For the people who aren't in an area with good internet reception, we need to maintain phone services so that they can call the council if need be, which means that the council officers need to be able to take messages and pass them on, because there seems to be a bit of doubt with that at sometimes. We also need to keep lobbying the telecommunications companies to improve their services, and that was done very successfully recently for the people of Northwood. So that's a good example to other areas, and the council to keep working in that area. Then it would also be worth looking at moving, having officers visit communities or be available in local halls for people to visit with their problems so that they can actually pass them on in person.
Oh, and it's this one here. Michael.
Box 17, if it's still there.
Let's have a look. No, box 17 is gone, I'm afraid.
What about box 28, the last one?
28, yes, I can give you a 28. Question W. Why do you think you're right for the role of mayor?
If you want the same results, vote for the same people. I come from outside the region. I look at things outside the square. I've got 6 properties, a jewellery company. I've learned to do things that others have told me are impossible. I remember having an argument with a goldsmith who said that he couldn't set gemstones even though he's been doing it for 20 years. I told him, if you've been doing something for 20 years and still can't do it, you must be pretty useless. I learned it in 2 weeks. It's to look outside the square and also consensus. So I'm hoping that some of the current councillors make it back into council so that I can also use their wisdom, because it's not all about me, it's about using the advice of others. But also just to tear apart the books. That's what I'm good at. I'm a book nerd, and that's where my skills shine on through, and numbers don't lie, and I want a fresh way of thinking and to make stuff really happen and get ultimate results. Thank you.
And we have a button from Scott.
I'm hardworking, strategic, and I have a vision and a plan. I'm available and engaged in our community. Council isn't just the mayor though. I have the leadership skills to get the best out of a team of councillors, playing to the strengths of the team. I don't need to manage everything. I want to build the governance structures where all elected members can contribute and achieve things for their district, and that includes community boards and community committees. Most importantly though, I want to work with the community to rebuild trust in council and get costs back under control. I showed some of what I can do during the toll-free campaign, and I want to bring our community together for other causes.
Okay, and button from Steve.
Yeah, thank you. So I personally have been in business over 33 years. I've led and trained people in many different ways. What I want to do, as my sign says there, I want to lead with pragmatic leadership for Tararua. I'm looking at ways, and I've got visions. I think we've got a lovely district here. We can all get involved. We have got strengths. All we need to do is get them all in the same room. I want to form a team. I'm not just one person. I'm a team player. The council, and that's the key. Get your team together and lead it from the front. So if I get elected as mayor, I promise you that we are going to do that pragmatic, look at it, leadership that I want to offer everyone sitting in this room here tonight. Thank you.
And another box number, Steve.
Right, 2.
2? Yep, I can give you a 2.
It's amazing how many buttons happen just before the candidate's about to be asked. And it's quite a theme across multiple shows.
Yes, okay, question C.
C for Charlie?
Yep, C for Charlie. Okay. The water scheme at Okateo Beach is under increasing pressure each summer. There are always supply issues during the busy months, and there still seems to be no improvements being looked at. What do you, as a candidate, say to this issue?
Yes, well, the good news is there has been things done. Being a standing councillor, there are working going on out there. Education is one big thing. One big thing that needs to happen at Akatea. Akatea can house so many people, but in the summer, there's a lot of people turn up out there. So if you increase any place by 100%, there's going to be 100% more demand. So if you're going to Akatea, and the council has worked very willingly, and they have worked, as my fellow councillors in the room and the present mayor would state, we are looking at every situation that is out there. But I also did ask how many, and there's a bylaw out there if you don't realise it, that every house out there must have their own tank. So, you know, you have to help yourself. And if you're going out to the country, I know myself, if I'm driving somewhere, I always take a bottle of water, because you can't depend on everybody to do everything for you. So I would like to see that tank and the bylaw made sure it's enforced. Thank you.
I remember from the days of living in Levin, if our water tank ran out, it took 14 days to refill under the same sort of system, where it used to dribble in quite slowly, as my landlord used to call it, trickle feed. Yeah. Okay, Tracy, what box number?
Could I have number 9, please?
Number 9. J for jelly bean. Okay. Spending needs to be within budget without increasing rates. What services or luxuries will you stop?
Okay.
Different J.
Different J, but okay. What's on your sheet?
What was that, Sam?
On the sheet, okay, I think I've loaded in the wrong graphics in there. What voluntary work unpaid do you do for the community, and how long have you done this? So that is the question that's actually in J. Yes, it looks like I've downloaded Northward's graphics and put them in as Mayoral graphics at the same time as the Northward graphics, which is annoying when you put in the work and you end up duplicating yourself. But I own that one.
Thanks. In the role of mayor, it's been hard to divide my time. It is a full-time role, but I currently serve as the chair of the Ikitahuna Charitable Trust, which I have done so for many years, and the role of that is to make sure that Ikitahuna has all of the services that it needs. I also, with raising my children, have served on all the PTAs and school functions as you'd normally allow, toy libraries, and I'm actively involved at the moment with the Friends of the Dannevirke domain, and stepped off when we sold the farm and moved from Ikitahuna to Dannevirke. Had to step off as chair of the Waireka Trust. So certainly involve myself with as many communities as I can, but a little bit more pressed on time because I don't read agendas in council time either. I read those at home in my own time.
Okay, and we have a button from Steve.
Yes, well, currently I'm serving on the executive member of the Dannevirke RSA. I'm also a proud member of the Dannevirke Rafiri Lodge. We've been involved in a lot of work, especially with the lodge. We do a lot of work, but we don't go out and tell a lot of people what we're doing. And I suppose that's what you don't go out to grandstand. But, this is what it's about. We're about people. We just go out and do the right thing. And also with the RSA, what a privilege and an honour to be involved with and to be elected to the executive team. Obviously, you all know what that's all about. That's why we're all sitting in this room here tonight. And I'm so proud to be involved in that lead. I've also been involved the whole time I've lived in Dannevirke. Over many different, I've been on the board of trustees, I've been involved with many different clubs. We also make sure that we support everything that we can in our town and district.
Okay, so we've 15 questions. So,
Yep.
Okay, Steve, you get to go up first. What box number? I know. This random order sheet keeps everyone on their toes.
It's random, so here we go. Number 12.
Number 12. Let's see if I can get you a 12. Yes, I can give you a 12. Question X. X for X-ray.
Matches.
Yes. Now, would you consider advocating for more safe pedestrian crossing on our main arterial routes in our townships, such as State Highway 2?
Simple answer, yes. But I'd like to get Wakako Tahi to pay for it.
Okay, Evan, what box number?
Number 11, please.
Number 11. Yes, I can give you an 11. Question F. F for fire truck. Okay. There has been much media coverage about candidates' behaviour towards their fellow candidates. If you guys know, you know. What are your personal values that make you a suitable candidate to be a councillor? Or mayor in this case.
Okay, it's not what matched up with my yes, but I'll just figure out what that is. Yes.
F for Foxtrot, or fire truck, as Laura said.
Oh, F.
Yeah, F.
I'm a good listener, and I think quickly on my feet. I'm proud of my heritage, my country, and the district that I now call home. As part of the heritage, the ancestors held honour in high esteem, and I also try to do that. So honour, integrity, and hopefully the ability to speak clearly on others' behalf.
Okay. Michael, what box number?
14, please.
I can give you a 14. Question B. B for banana. Alrighty. Do you support political party endorsement of local government candidates?
I'm standing as an independent. The issue with people choosing to say go with ACT or go with Labour or go with National is that it boxes you into their ideologies. As an independent, I can just choose what I feel is right or what I'm proven, like when I've had a girlfriend when she's proven me wrong, which is nearly every time, and to go with what is the right decision, not what the party says, but what I can truly believe in as being the right decision. I'm fine if others choose to nominate themselves and box themselves in for a national party, but for me, it's independence or nothing, and that's what I stand for personally. I'll never box myself in for being tied to one party or the other. It's about what's right and what's wrong. Thank you.
Okay. Scott, what box number?
Is that 16 there?
Ooh,
the one
no,
at the
16
front.
is gone, but I can give you a 15.
Yep, go for that.
See, we
got here? Z for zebra.
Nervousness waits.
Well, don't be nervous because it matches. Okay, right. Being an elected member of council requires a huge amount of reading. Council agendas can range from 200 to 600 pages each month, sometimes more. I know. How will you cope with that workload? And do you feel confident you can not only read, but fully understand the information, seek extra details where needed, and avoid sharing inaccurate information with the public in person or on social media?
Yeah, it's fair to say it's absolutely huge, but I have done it over the last 3 years. Next week, in fact, is going to be one of those weeks where we have some huge agendas on quite complex information that we have to get through. To be frank, you just have to be disciplined and set aside the time to read it and to go through it and to make sure that you understand all the information. Technology plays a role, so I enjoy jumping on Google, trying to understand some of the terms that come in. And I'm also someone, if you watch any council meeting, I will always question information to make sure that I have a full understanding of the decisions that we make before we make them. So a lot of work, but absolutely achievable if you're disciplined.
Okay, Tracy, what box number?
Could I have number 8, please?
Number 8. Okay, question G. The Government and Taxpayers Union have been accusing councils of being irresponsible with large percentage rate increases. What is your view?
Councils of the past have focused on low rates increases during tough times, and we did exactly the same thing during COVID, but delaying essential work has also got us into the position that we are with water. Running old software and clunky software systems. Catch-up has to come at some point, which is painful. We need robust community conversations about the services that we can afford, and also to consider who the service benefits. When our families can't put food on the table, they shouldn't be funding visitors' things, and that's why we look for external funding when we're looking at grants, when we're looking at things like tourism, like the Waihi Falls toilets and Akatio toilets. The government could make a saving to all ratepayers by removing the GST component from rates. The culture of spending every dollar at council as if it were your own is something we need to focus on.
And we have a button from Scott.
Thanks. I agree with the Taxpayer Union's sentiment, but it's not just as simple as going out with a lower rate. It's very possible, but it takes a huge amount of work to find the savings and the optimisations to really shift the dial. As an example, New Zealand has 67 city or district councils, all of them doing essentially the same things. We need to look at working with others for routine back office tasks so we can save money and improve services. I think that there's a real huge opportunity here. We need to look at everything that we do and first ask, one, would people actually notice if we stop doing it? And if not, then stop. And if so, how can we be creative and deliver it differently? We don't have a large ratepayer base. We don't have a lot of nice to haves, which makes it even more important to review every line of expenditure and find optimisations and savings.
Okay, we've definitely got at least 5 boxes sitting there.
We have about 7 boxes left.
Okay, so let's sit there and get another order and get another 5 candidates get their questions. Please be quick because we're near 8 o'clock. Tracy, you get to go up first. What box number?
Could I have number 18, please?
Number 18?
Oh, yes, the good old age. I think I remember voting at that age.
Question L.
Does it match?
Okay, do you think that Māori wards such as our own Tamaki Nui Rua, Māori wards strengthen democracy? Why or why not?
Absolutely, that strengthened democracy. Nearly a third of our population is Māori. It gets a voice at the table and allows us to connect in with communities that we don't always hear from.
Okay, Steve. What box number?
Is that 24 in the front?
Yep, I can get you a 24.
24.
God, you managed to see that. I can't see that. Can't see the numbers from here.
I go to Specsavers.
Yeah, you need to go to Exeter, Sam.
Yes, I'm on line 5 and 6 on the driving medical.
Okay, question H.
H.
Yep, H for Harry. Okay. What can council do to improve youth engagement and elderly services without hitting ratepayers who don't use those services with big costs?
Well, this is a very interesting one. I was very pleased to be involved with the Blue Beat Discos. I was the DJ in those days. So it's not a core business of the council. It's a core business of society. We need to get people, and there is people out there. They all want to get involved. You know, in the old Blue Beat days, Bob Dresser, he was the man, and we used to have these, and all the kids had something to do. And they would get the high school would give us the hall up there. We would have a great night, you know. And this is what we can do again, because I think the kids, they're the ones that are being alienated. There's all these devices now, but they don't know what we can or have done, you know. So we need to go out there, look at the social side of it, because it's not a core business of council, because if we get involved in it, guess what? Your rates are going to go up. We don't want to put your rates up because someone's got to pay for it. Just ask for people's hands to go up, and you watch what happens. They'll come.
Okay, Evan, what box number?
27, please, if it's available.
Evan, not Michael.
Sorry.
Michael's eager.
Yeah.
25.
25, let's see if I can get you a 25. Yes, I can. Question D. Okay. Much of the council's work involves reading and understanding technical reports on topics like infrastructure, finance and legislation, often in areas you may not be familiar with. What's your process for getting up to speed on complex subjects quickly and making informed decisions?
I missed the letter you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Letter D.
D.
D for dinosaur.
Okay. It wasn't our D. Just trying to find where it was. Getting up to speed. Well, it would involve a lot of research, learning, talking to staff, finding out, and community leaders to find out what has been done before, learning what assets we have, and study, listen. Yeah, sorry.
Just out of curiosity, what question did you have for that letter?
I hadn't found my answer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you said D, wasn't it?
Yeah, I said D.
Yeah. Yeah, you made us all nervous here. Okay, Michael, what box number? Yes.
27, please.
27. Okay. Question O. O for orange. Yep, okay. Issues around climate change are becoming more important. What are your thoughts on supporting anaerobic digestion of food waste to produce biogas similar to the plant in Tararua? Please note this is not the incineration of general waste. So we're not burning the waste. We're not setting on fire.
I'm all for thinking outside the square. If this is producing gas that can also be used for power generation, for manufacturing, that's all good. I saw this and my original questions had half the letters cut off, and I was looking at it thinking, are they talking about bugs eating the waste? I'm fine for it. It's just so long as it's cost effective. Everything that the council does or gets involved with has to be cost effective. So if it's going to cost us more money, then that's something that has to be looked at. But I'm all for the environment. When I was young, I used to breed native parakeets to New Zealand in the aim of getting a Kia. Conservation and looking after the environment is one of my just key things that I personally believe in, regardless of it being an issue for council. So I'm all for it if it's effective and it works, and do it.
And we have a button.
I'm all for it, but I actually believe that we probably don't have enough food waste to justify it. The real resource is human waste. I think if we can combine food waste, human waste, and possibly even farm effluent, then we'll have a huge quantity of resources to feed into biodigesters. We could then generate energy for the communities, and the end product, after it's all been used for gas production, becomes fertiliser that can be put back into gardens and on farms. Full circle use. And probably much more effective than current sewage treatment.
Sounds explosive.
Okay, Scott.
Is that 19 in the middle?
Yes, we have a 19. Okay, question A. What political party are you linked to?
I'm an independent candidate and I'm not actively involved in politics outside of council, nor do I agree with everything from any political party. To be effective as mayor, you have to be able to work well with and have good relationships with people of any political persuasions and be willing to challenge where appropriate.
Thank you, and thank you for answering the box questions. Now, normally we would like to take a break, but I just want to ask our candidates, can we keep going, please? Yep, just because, I'm getting a bit tired myself, having to be up at 6 o'clock this morning to get here, and I'll be up to at least midnight, because Palmerston North needs their questions, and a couple of candidates do want it. Okay, so Nick, can you please roll on the hard-hitting questions graphic, please?
Hard-hitting questions, we don't get anything funny. What does a question? Because every candidate has to answer the hard-hitting questions.
Can't use certificates, good on them for not using them, but they can't use it because everyone's going to be answering it. So, hard-hitting question number one. The McLean Street / Vogel Street intersection, I had to look it up on Google Earth to actually find out where it was, in Woodville, has had numerous accidents and has been raised with council multiple times, yet no action or visible advocacy has followed. What will you do to push for safety improvements there, and how would you keep the community informed on progress, especially as this intersection is owned by Wakakotahi?
Sam, as you can see,
I am having an absolute bad night on that. I am absolutely. Does that check? No. I am having an absolute bad night on that. I swear I probably downloaded Northwood's graphics twice.
Good evening,
Okay.
everybody. I'm just going to jump in for a second here. Yes, Sam has downloaded the wrong questions, but he is asking the right questions.
Thanks for that, Stacey. Yep. So, who did I sit there and say we're going to go with? Evan. You get to go up first. on your hard-hitting question number 1.
Can we have it up there so we can see?
I haven't got the right graphics. If you want me to spend 15 minutes to change it, I can. But if you want it, I can pass my card now.
He's got it. Okay. You might want to repeat.
Yes, so repeating the question, the McLean Street, Vogel Street intersection of Woodville has had numerous accidents and has been raised with council multiple times, yet no action or visible advocacy has followed. What will you do to push for safety improvements there, and how would you keep the community involved in progress, especially as the intersection is owned by Waka Kotahi? And it was Evan that was going off first, but yeah.
Council must be visible in its lobbying of Waka Kotahi for any improvement here. This can be done as simply as by advertising, telling people when they are putting in submissions, and could also include asking people to put in their own submissions with the councils so that they're hitting Waka Kotahi with volumes to emphasise the problem. But I personally believe that this is only going to be a short-term problem, because I believe that sooner or later Woodville will be bypassed. It has 4 arms coming off it at the moment, and I believe one will eventually go to Payatua and one will go on the Woodville bypass. And if you don't believe me, I ask, where is Taupo now? Taupo is at the end of an arrow pointing off one arm of a roundabout where Taupo is. If they do that to Taupo, they will eventually do it to us, because as well as population and difficult corners, there's a school right on State Highway, and I don't think Osh would like that.
Okay, Michael.
I agree with the possibility that there could be a bypass. I don't ever want a bypass for the Dannevirke, because that would cause the business sector to fail massively, and that would be the same for Woodville. And now that there's a new highway there, that would make that defunct for providing the businesses down the main street with business if they put it in a bypass. As far as the intersection goes, that might also be a police matter, to ask the police to monitor that more so that locals know that it's been watched more, and to just outright lobby the minister for Waka, for NZ Transport to get off his ass and actually sort the issue out, period. If I have to, I'll go down there myself and speak to him. It's trying to do it so that we're not having to pay for it, but if in the end, whether or not, I'm not familiar with the precise intersection.
It's where State Highway 2 and State Highway 3 meets.
Then that will have to be a police issue as well to help out with that one, and for NZ Transport to get off their backside and resolve it once and for all. Thank you.
Okay, Steve.
Yes, well, sadly, Tracy and I came across that intersection about 2 minutes just after an accident happened. So I would be advocating very strongly to get that intersection sorted ASAP, because it was a shocking sight. And we don't know what these people were thinking, but anyhow, they did not see that, because they did not stop. They just went straight in to a truck. So, there is something really bad, but big signs maybe for starters, but let's start lobbying. We need to get lights. We need to do something down there, because some people I know it sounds, they become oblivious to signs. I don't know why, but people do it. It's like, people like road cones. You stop seeing them, don't you? So let's get that big sign up, flashing lights, big flashing lights.
Okay, Tracy.
Thanks. That intersection's been a topic of conversation for many years, and many solutions have been put forward. After the accident, there has been a full safety review of that, and I have indicated one of the first actions I took was to request that signage went up, warning of that intersection. With the new highway, the traffic volume has increased, and we do need to address that. Where the signage will come for that intersection, it's not wide enough the road for a roundabout, but I think one of the conversations that we have to have with the community and working with Positively Woodville, and they have been communicated that with through the chair around the decision for the signage, is there needs to be a conversation. Woodville will not be bypassed. It was one of the first conversations we had with advocating for the new road, so that's not coming anytime soon, but you do have increased traffic volumes. You have a large number of pedestrian crossings with traffic slowing down. I think eventually we will be looking at discussing a speed reduction as well as additional signage.
Okay, Scott.
Thanks. And yes, absolutely. There are a number of safety concerns with that intersection that have been apparent for many years, as Tracy mentioned. And unfortunately, little has changed so far. So really positive to hear that there's some signage and other things being worked on. I know the Mayor chairs a road safety committee, which I think is a really, really great initiative, bringing together NZTA and other agencies to be able, and community board chairs to be able to talk about some of these issues that impact us but are controlled by NZTA. So I would absolutely be looking to continue on with those meetings, looking at the effectiveness of them, perhaps publishing some of the things that come out of those meetings so we have different ways of applying pressure. There has been some really good cost-effective solutions that have been suggested by the community, so encouraging to hear that they're being pushed through to NZTA, but we do need to do something.
Okay, now let's get on to hard-hitting question number 2. And I love Tararua voters. They bring in some very good questions because I never would have thought about this one. Hard-hitting question number 2. What sort of qualities in a person are you going to be looking for in a new CEO to guide the council staff next year? And Michael, you get to go up first.
Usually when I've been in charge of lots of people before, I quickly go over their position personally to see what it is that they actually do, so I can gather whether or not they're doing a good job or a bad job to begin with. I do believe in delegation. You can't do everything yourself, and I love delegating as many tasks as I possibly can within reason off to others. I hear good things of the guy that's currently doing it as a temporary fill-in at the moment, but I want to be able to go through what he does every hour of the day for an entire week so that I know that he knows and we both know what he's doing and that he's doing a good job, and that he's from the region and doesn't live out of town, so that we're keeping local jobs in the local district to feed back to the community itself. Yeah, that's how I stand on it. Thank you.
Okay, Evan.
I want to see someone coming from a background of project management and with a strong community focus. I want somebody from here or who wants to move to and settle here. I do not want someone for whom that this is just a stepping stone onto their next position, because such a person has no long-term commitment or any loyalty to our district. A local person or somebody who wants to move and settle here has a vested interest in making the Tararua work and make it a better place for all of us, because it's going to be their home. A person like that will not shit in their nest and quickly abandon ship and move on if it all turns to custard.
Okay, Tracy.
Thanks, and that'll be one of the first jobs of the current council, is to meet together and discuss what we are looking for in a chief executive officer altogether. But for me, it's to continue the openness and transparency and build on that further, to be involved genuinely with the community. But the next chief executive will have to be transformational, curious, and asking all of the whys to dig into how we can make this district more affordable. They're going to have to look at all of the contracts. They're going to have to embrace new technologies that might be able to use to be used to save further funds and provide value for money. They're going to need to genuinely care for our people and always do the right thing and be solutions focused for this community. And it'd be great if they that they live here, understand the community, and get to know our businesses right up front.
Okay, Scott.
The CE role is a really critical role in council, and we're heading into different times, and different times call for different skills and leadership roles. And right now, I believe we need a CE who will have a close and effective partnership with elected members, and will be someone who's willing to shake things up and drive efficiency and optimizations. Local government's in for big changes, and the CE must be willing to transform the organisation with it. They'll need to be experienced at effectively delivering major change while keeping staff engagement front of mind. Council trust is low, so the CE will need to be skilled at rebuilding that. The CE needs to be involved with and engaged in our community. And I would love it if the CE was someone who would be excited to make this district their home and have a real stake in our future.
Okay, Steve.
Yes, well, the CE, he's going to lead the team. He's the person that employs, we're in the governance side, he's in the operational side. So we need somebody that's coming forward. He's got to have good leadership skills and obviously well qualified. And I think I'm looking forward, don't forget, this is going to take a process. The process is going through a recruitment company. And once they're shortlisted, then we get to see them. And then we need to make the judgment calls. Where they live really doesn't worry me, because if you take Dannevirke to Eketahuna, it's the same place from here to Palmerston North. But the main thing is, as long as they are passionate, and this is where I'm focused, where they're passionate. Now, if they want to live in our district, please, they will come. But if that's the point, if they don't want to live here, it shouldn't be a burden. What we're focused on is getting the best person, the best CE for us, because that's what we need for us.
Okay, so now let's get ready for hard-hitting question number 3. Now, this one, I definitely know the graphic works because it's the same from the previous show. What is your position on retaining the Tararua District Council Tamaki Nui Arua Māori Ward for the Tararua District Council and the Tonga Māori constituency for Horizons Regional Council, and why do you hold that position? Evan?
I'm completely in favour of it. With Māori making up about 27% of our local population, it can be incredibly difficult to get any representation for our largest minority without a protected seat. One seat does not unbalance anything, and it ensures that we can have a Māori voice at the table as an equal instead of being a cap-in-hand submitter. Different opinions and worldviews give us more rigorous debate of issues. It highlights possibilities or potential problems that others may not have guessed, and it can lead to overall better decision making. Years ago, I was told by people at the Eketahuna Museum that in the early days of settlement, a lot of the Scandinavians suffered discrimination from English. And it was actually the Māori woman who helped out our ancestors with things like birthing and midwifery. I believe we owe them for that then. I believe we owe them now too, or like Rangatani stepping up to rescue us with the Pukaha debacle. And I believe we will all be working together better in the future.
I'd just like to comment on that one. My ancestors came over from Denmark. I also whakapapa Māori, and I'm very familiar with the story because my Danish ancestors were helped by those wahine. So thank you for that, kōrero.
Tracy.
Thanks. Look, I fully support the Māori ward in both the Tararua District Council and Horizons. It has been very difficult for Māori to be elected to the table, and in the time that Tararua District Council has been formed, we've only ever had 3. It's brought a greater connection, it's brought a greater balance to the table and hearing those voices. I think it's really important that everybody gets in behind the referendum and makes their voice count so that there's a guarantee that that seat remains.
Okay, Steve.
Yes, well, luckily in this election coming up, we will have the chance to have a democratic vote, and that's a referendum on either keeping or not keeping the Mayoral ward. So I will leave it to what the people in this democracy of New Zealand, because I look at everyone as all of us as equals. I don't believe in separatism. I like everyone in this room, be whatever they are. Look at my friend over there, Mr. Sharice Patel. I don't look at him anything different. We're all equal. The good thing about it, we are all New Zealanders.
Michael.
I used to be on the Mayoral. I've switched to the general role many years ago. Look, it's a democracy. There's a referendum. It only takes 5% of the community in a council election to hold a referendum, if you can get everybody on side. So I'm fine with whatever the people choose. If they choose to keep it, I'm fine with that. If they choose to remove it, I'm fine with that. And if the people, one way or the other, choose to hold another referendum, I believe in referendums and democracy, I'm fine with that too. So it's up to the people, and make sure you vote. That's the main thing. If you don't vote, then you can't really have a genuine say. So, and we're all going to have a say soon. So it's the same answer I gave for the last 2 times. But yeah, it's make sure that you vote, and that I'm fine with what the people decide in the end.
Okay, Scott.
I wish they weren't needed, but the reality is we have a history of huge underrepresentation of Māori at the council table, at our one in particular. Prior to Māori wards, there had only been 2 Māori elected to our council, which is shocking considering they make up 29% of our population. Something wasn't working, and the result is our council was not representative of our communities, perhaps causing even more disengagement. The input from our current Māori ward councillor has been hugely valuable around the council table. I'm personally supportive of how it's been working, but the reality is what I personally think doesn't matter. This subject is going to be decided by referendum. So everyone who votes will get to decide the outcome. And like the mayoral election, if you have a strong view on any of those subjects, I encourage you to vote.
Okay. Well, we're at that time of the night where candidates get to give their closing statements on why they should be getting your tick when it comes to voting. So, Steve, you get to go up first.
Well, we live in a time of constant change, with increasing pressures from both internal demands and external regulations. With your vote, I look forward to building a team and working the best for you. Give me serious consideration, and you'll see my son over there. I want to lead a council with a team that I can count on, with pragmatic Tararua leadership. And thanks very much for coming out tonight.
Evan.
I have ideas for developing our economy. I have ideas for energy. I have ideas for looking after our people. I now need your help to achieve them. I want to preserve our water supply as our asset instead of risking losing it. And to do that, I need your help to achieve that. I believe I'm sufficiently different from most of the people you have as an option to give this a very different voice at the table, which again gives us more chance of debate and better decision making. And again, I need your help to be able to achieve that. Thank you. And to give the people of Tararua further choice, vote for Evan for Mayor or vote Evan for the South Ward, because I believe I have value to add for all of us at any capacity.
Okay, Scott.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for coming along. Everyone here has a really big decision to make at the election, deciding who you want to lead your council. I am very, very clear. I believe that we can do things differently and we can make improvements. I was so proud to walk alongside our community during the toll-free battle, and I want to look at how we can bring our community together to solve our other big problems. If you ever want to get in touch with me, my details are online. I want to have conversations. I want to sit there and hear what your priorities are and see if we can come up with some solutions and some answers together. Vote Scott for Mayor.
Okay. Michael.
I'll just speak from the heart. The simple fact is every time I look at my rates bill, it goes up. I just saw when the water meters was going to be announced, I just lost my mind, and that's when I decided I'd make a stand, because that was the straw that broke the camel's back. It's about getting results, and if you vote in the same people, you're just going to get the same results. We're going to have water meters, the rates are going to keep going up, and you're just going to keep the same results. If you want something fresh, vote me in. I'll tear the books apart. I'm a book nerd through and through. I look outside the square. I come with no prejudices of opinions. I'm fine to look outside the square. So if you vote for Michael Spence, you'll get a change and you'll get results. Thank you.
Okay, and Tracy.
Thanks. Look, we've got big changes coming, and it isn't the time to start from scratch. We need steady hands, strong relationships, and practical leadership that's deeply connected here. I've raised my family here and run a farming business, and I've served our communities and understand them well. We have set the foundations, we have the strategies, we've done the reviews. We need to pick up the pace to get ahead. We've focused on who uses the service and who pays for it. It's simply not enough, and affordability is tougher now than ever. We actually need to review the way that we rate and whether our model is right for the growth that we have experienced between land value, capital value, or a hybrid model of in between. Because when you own a home based on land value and the way that prices have gone up, you can own a home in Ekirahona on a larger section and be paying the same amount of rates of a new home on a smaller section in Woodville or Dannevirke. Massive changes coming with local government, and what we provide will change. You'll need somebody that you already know and trust with proven relationships. Kia ora.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, just before a little bit of housekeeping before we go, It's in the Ballot Productions here is an independent non-profit organisation focusing its goal on democracy and going to visiting communities all around the place to bring our It's in the Ballot show to the community, similar to how Sell and Too Good brought the TV show It's in the Bag back in the day. One of the things the way we're funded is by small dollar donations and by kohas and all that, give a little pages and that. Today's cost to sit there and run the shows is $410 for venue hire. That includes the heating, and I wish I learnt a bit more about the doors and all that sort of thing earlier. We also spend $14 a day on Starlink connection to broadcast our shows out to the world, and we spend $31 a day on Restream hosting services, and our fuel budget is $200, $100 per car, and we also have a refreshments budget of $50 to sit there and help keep the crew nourished. So if you would like to sit there and help either with the koha without emissions option on Eventbrite, put a donation to our Give a Little page, or put a cash deposit into it's in the Ballot bank account with the details on our website for our KiwiBank bank account. Those small donations will go a long way. Can I say thank you to the candidates for coming tonight? It's great to have a full house of candidates. It's not easy trying to get it, but as I know, get out of the Wellington bubble and suddenly you have people who are willing to participate and jump in front of a camera. It's a lot different from there, and I'm glad as someone who's a Wellingtonian, actually it's brilliant meeting these people, and I'm much more confident voting outside once I hit Petone Overbridge in Wellington than I am in my own city, and I'm pleased with it. Laura, thank you for joining, for helping us set up and all that sort of thing, and making today happen. And can we also thank Nick, who's on the and can I also thank C for being our remote editor and producer and making all the graphics, and my co-chair for doing that, who's been doing this all the way remotely from Upper Hutt, and for Paul Barlow, who sat down there and remotely edited the Tararua Regional Council show and the Dannevirke Community Board show to give Stacey a break. The team of volunteers here sit down there and make these sorts of projects get off and bring it off. Anything you want to say, Laura?
Yeah, the Tararua district is my home, so I actually live in Eki Tahuna, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be here today. And I know some people have come up to me and they've made suggestions and given me feedback, and even had some very spicy things to say to me, which I do appreciate. I am very open to having conversation, and hey, now that the show's over, feel free to come up to me and have a chat. I'm a lot more less stressed now about managing this stuff. But yeah, things don't always go to plan, but I am so grateful that this community is quite understanding of that. And so, yeah, I just wanted to give a big ngā mihi nui to everyone here. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for partaking. And yeah, I love you guys.
Yeah. One of the things we do is, this is one of our It's in the Ballot t-shirts. We do have the website is on there. We have them done by Print Mighty. Laura has been the one who's designed it, but that's our 2025 calendar. So that's one of the options you can do to support our format if you want to purchase either a t-shirt or a hoodie. The t-shirts are $50 and the hoodies are $100. Yeah. So that's available on our Print Mighty website. And I don't know. Waving hands down the back. Yes, yeah, go ahead. So what we do, yes, so we get them done in advance so that we can make the graphics up, we can put the chirons on the screen and all that sort of stuff, and prepare all the questions in advance so we can sit there and do it. If we had questions on the floor, we could be here till midnight with it. In my past experience from seeing questions on the floor, the people asking tend to take longer than what it takes for the candidates to answer. So that's why we try to get them coming in. I can confirm to you one of the questions I had to modify that came in, which was about the State Highway 2 free intersection in Woodville. I had to add the part about it being owned by Waka Kotahi, because when I saw the street names, I didn't actually realise it was a national state highway. But okay, I mean, what's been asked as a question? I mean, I can sit there and do it. I mean, you know, and you. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I mean, I didn't know. I feel like I've had the rules changed on me without me knowing and now being told off on it, because this has been a very standard format of our show since its inception back in 2020. But if you want to talk to the candidates afterwards, I've got no problem with that, and that's partly what it's about, is the candidates there. Okay, yeah.
No, and we appreciate the feedback too,
Yeah.
by the way. So thank you very much for bringing that point up.
Well, that's what the theme of the show is based about. Well, no answers out from them. I'm stumped. Yeah.
There's a question from the back down there.
The wrong graphic, yes, because I load the wrong graphics in there. What was the question about? For hard-hitting question number one. That would have been for the North Ward show. Yeah, and I accidentally loaded in the wrong graphics and realising that literally at the point. So it was the wrong graphics was loaded in, and that's my mistake, and I own it because I own my screw-ups. But yeah, that is my mistake on that one, and apologies on that one. And that wasn't sent to the candidates in advance for this one. The North Ward candidates were sent those questions. Yeah. Okay. You able to hit the closing credits? No.